everybody. Welcome to Story Sauce. I'm Sid.
And I'm Susie.
And today we are going to be reading a gypsy tale from Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
And what's our tale called today, Susie?
It's called The Riddle.
The Riddle. Oh, cool. I like riddles.
Let's see if it is a riddle.
Okay.
Once there lived a rich man. He had an only son, and the mother and father loved their son dearly. He went to school, and he learned all there was in the world. One day he left the house, and he took 4 or 5 purses full of money. But then he squandered all of the money. He spent it. Early next morning he rose again, and he went to his father. "Father," he said, "give me more money." His father, who loved him very much, gave him more money. The next day again the sun rose, and he left the house, and by night he'd spent all the money that his parents gave him. The next morning he woke again early, and he said to his father and mother, "Father and mother, I want some more money." "My child, there is no money left," said his father. "Would you like the stewing pans? Take them, go, sell them, and you can eat." So the son took, and he sold the family stewing pans. But after a day or two, he had spent all of the money again. "I want some money," he said again to his parents. "My son, we have no money. But take our clothes, go, sell them."
But in a day or two, he had spent that money too.
Oh.
He woke the next day and went to his father and said, "I want some money." "My son, there is no money left to us at all.
Of course.
If you like, sell the house."
Oh.
The lad took and sold the house. In a month he had spent the money from the house. No money remained, but he again went to his parents and said, "Father, I want some more money." "My son, no riches remain to us. No house remains to us.
No.
If you like, take us to the slave market and sell us." Can you believe that? He's
No.
going to sell his own parents?
Oh, that's dreadful.
The lad took and sold his parents. In fact, the king bought the mother and father.
The king.
The king. They called to their son, "Come this way, that we may see you." But the son went away to spend the money.
He didn't even see his parents?
Nope. With the money for his mother, the lad bought himself clothes. And with the money for his father, he bought a horse.
Clothes and a horse.
Yep. After 1 or 2 days, the boy's father and mother looked for their son as he had not gone to visit them. They were very sad, and they began to weep. The king's servants saw them weeping, and so they went to tell the king, "Those servants whom you bought are weeping loudly."
"Call them to me," the king said. When they approached the king, he asked, "Why are you weeping?" "We had a son. It is for him we weep." "Who are you then?" asked the king. "We were not servants before this, my king. We had a son, but he sold us. And we're weeping because he has not come to see us, not even once." Just as they were talking with the king, the lad arrived. The king wrote a letter, gave it to the lad, put it in his hand, and said, "Carry this letter wherever you go." In it the king wrote, "Cut the throat of the lad carrying this letter the minute you read it." The lad put on his new clothes, mounted the horse, put the letter in his pocket, and took to the road. He rode a long, long way, and soon found that he was very, very thirsty. Luckily, he saw a well, and he said to himself, "How am I to get water to drink? I will tie this letter to the rope and lower it into the well. I'll get it wet, and with that I can moisten my mouth a bit." So he lowered it. Then he drew it up and squeezed the water from the letter into his mouth.
"Let's see what this letter contains," he then said to himself. Then he saw what was written. cut the throat of the lad carrying this letter the minute you read it." The lad stood there totally mesmerized.
I would be too.
Yeah. Now, in another part of the country, there was a king who had a daughter.
Okay.
Many young men went to the princess to tell her a riddle, and if she guessed the answer to the riddle, she would cut off the young man's head. Ooh.
What?
But if she could not guess the answer to the riddle, she would marry the young man.
Okay.
Quite
so
a
must
difference.
Be cutting a lot of heads off. Then. Okay.
The lad decided to go to this king's palace. "What have you come here for, my lad?" said the guard at the palace. "I would like to speak with the king's daughter," the lad replied. "Speak with her you shall. If she guesses your riddle, she will cut off your head, and if she cannot, you will marry the maiden." "That's what I've come for," the boy said. He sat down in front of the maiden. The maiden said, "Tell me your riddle." The lad said, "My mother, I wore her. My father, I rode him. From my death, I drank water."
The maiden looked in her book of answers, but she could not find the answer to the boy's riddle. "Grant me 3 days respite," she asked the lad. Respite means wait, yeah?
Yeah.
Make me wait. Let me wait. I'm not ready to answer your question. "I grant it to you," said the lad, and he arose, went to an inn, and he went to sleep. The maiden realized she could not discover the answer to the boy's riddle. So she had an underground passage made to the place where the lad was sleeping. Sneaky. At midnight, the maid arose, went to him, took the lad in her arms, and said, "I am yours and you are mine. Only tell me the riddle." "Not likely. I shall not tell you. Strip yourself,"
Oy.
said the lad to the maiden. So the maiden stripped herself. "Tell me it." Then he told her the answer. The maiden clapped her hands and told her servant to help her return to the palace. However, now the maiden was wearing the lad's shirt, and the lad was wearing the maiden's shirt.
Yeah, they got their clothes mixed up.
There was a mix-up.
After the mix-up. Day broke. The princess's servants summoned the lad. The lad mounted his horse and rode to the palace. The people of the city saw the lad and said to each other, "It's such a pity. They'll kill him for sure." The lad went up to the palace and stood face to face with the king. "My daughter has guessed your riddle," said the king. "How did she guess it, my king? At night, when I was asleep, there came a bird to my breast. I caught it. I killed it. I cooked it. Just as I was going to eat it, it flew away." The king said, "Kill him. He's lying." "I'm not lying, my king. I told your daughter the riddle. Your daughter had an underground passage made, and she came to where I was sleeping,
She did.
came into my arms. I caught her. I stripped her of her clothes. I took her to my breast. I told her the riddle. She clapped her hands. Her servants came and took her. And if you don't believe me, look, I am wearing her shirt, and she is wearing mine." The king saw that it was true. And for 40 days and 40 nights, they celebrated their marriage.
Oh.
Then the lad took the maiden, returned to his own country, and bought back his father and his mother.
He bought them back.
Yep. I don't know what he learned from... He didn't seem to learn anything.
He was like a bad guy getting all the good
Yes.
stuff.
But at least he did buy his parents back. It's a strange story.
Do you think they wanted to go back with
I
him?
don't know. I think they loved him very much. But, well, I guess they all lived happily ever after in the end.
They did.
Okay, well, that was an odd story, but we hope you enjoyed it anyway and that you learned some new English. And we'll see you again next time on Story Sauce. Bye.
Bye.